Well, a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Chelmsford. It's the Vitality Blast from the Middlesex Live enhanced stream. Myself, Kevin Hand, John Fields, alongside me for this one as well. It's a gorgeous sunny evening here. It's always the first bit of news we need to hear at a cricket ground. And obviously, it's also a gorgeous run, Tom, that Middlesex are on at the moment. A couple of wins in the bank as well. And Gloucestershire visiting Chelmsford this evening for this Middlesex home game. Middlesex actually pretty buoyed, especially by our first ever win on a Gloucestershire ground. That was quite something last week.
It absolutely was, Kev. Some in very good form from Middlesex these last couple of games, and Gloucestershire here tonight. Important victory for them. They will need still with a chance of a top four spot. So a lot riding on tonight. We've got beautiful weather for it, and we should be in for a good game.
And Middlesex will feel, the players will feel, the coaches will feel. The last couple of weeks probably backs up where the trajectory has been for the last couple of years. They'll have started the groups, they pointed out there were a lot of washouts in there as well. Games where they felt they probably would have done well, they probably would have had a chance. So it felt like a little bit of vindication, I think, to have been on the fields for those last couple of games.
Yeah, I think so. And, credit to the players. They've been working hard. There has been improvements from last year's campaign as well. Players like Luke Holman really stepping up, and 21 wickets he's taken this campaign so far. So players stepping up, starting to get those results that they deserve and need. And, I think looking forward to next campaign as well. Hopefully more and more improvements will be coming in there.
Live enhanced stream from Chelmsford here from the Middlesex production in association with Daffabet. And they say news of the toss. Gloucestershire have won it. They have elected to bat first. All the kids are out there for the Guard of Honour. There's Pinky as well. And the flags waving for Middlesex to come out onto the field for this one. So views of the team, Max Holden's back in. Mark Stoneman is out for this match. Part of that side that did win at Gloucestershire, of course. It was a brilliant display there with 50s for Jack Davies and for Martin Anderson. Quite the comeback at Cheltenham College. Quite the setting, quite the scene. From Cheltenham to Chelmsford, a trip to Cardiff in between as well. And here come the players for this one. But yeah, Tom, that match at Cheltenham, which I kept on calling Chelmsford on the evening, much to the delight of the locals. That felt as though it was going to go very badly wrong to begin with, and the fact that Middlesex were able to come back from that, I think was a real mark of just, that confidence that is in the squad despite that run, which, again, last year those 10 defeats, can't hide away from it, but Middlesex came back at the end and felt as though they showed a little bit more what they're about.
Yeah, very much so. A really well-rounded bowling performance, actually. Gloucestershire looked at one point there like they might walk it, but a really, really good comeback. Gloucestershire 112 for 4 to 152 all out. 3 wickets for Holman, 2 for Cullen, 2 for Higgins, 2 for Cornwell and 1 for Helm. So each bowler stepping up and getting involved in that wicket column. But Middlesex will be hoping to do the double tonight.
Absolutely, it will be quite the double to do, and we were nattering about it off air, weren't we? But it would be a mid-table finish for Middlesex. Looking in strongly in this competition this year. We shall see. A trip to Hove tomorrow night. Sunny Brighton awaits, which will be always a lovely trip down to the south coast, Sussex by the sea. Always think for Middlesex. But Gloucestershire first up. Here come the teams, led out by Lewis Duproy. And Neil Bainton, Jack Shantry as well. They're coming out from the main pavilion. There they are. Neil Bainton on the left, Jack Shantry on the right. Former West Country cricketer with Worcestershire, Jack Shantry. Be much for a stranger to Cheltenham College in that part of the world. Umpire's cam on his chest there as well. I'm sure we'll get a good few shots from that this evening. A nod to the scorers, I think, as he walks out to the middle. Scorebox is up above where, the scorers, I should say, up above where the Middlesex dressing room is, that far side of the ground. So 2 different players' pavilions, 2 different dressing rooms for the sides here at Chelmsford. There's the break in the team. Luke Holman was just in the background there, who spoke to us at the end of the last match, and extremely excited with the victory down at Cardiff, which was a pretty emphatic one as well for Middlesex. There's the scene. It's a picture painting again here. Lovely fluffy cloud up above the Hayes Close end of the ground now. The Graham Gooch end, the Sir Alistair Cook end is what was the river end. Shorter down the ground here at Chelmsford. Always a wider pitch, square of the wicket.
Have we got a wide shot by the all? I know.
So down the ground is obviously going to be a big option. Now Cornwell, it all started here at Chelmsford for him. And Noah Cornwell it is from this time the river end. If memory serves, and it occasionally does, it was the other end that he started up this season for Middlesex. We're sat at what is effectively, I've got to get my bearings now, it's a left-hander on strike. So we're at deep third, watching on for this one. Mind the windows. Always keep your eyes on the ball at a T20. We're sat behind glass here. It must be reinforced. If not, I'm trusting you to run around outside, Dom. Managed to do the duty for us. Here's Noah Cornwall with the first ball from the Sir Alistair Cook end. A little bit of movement there, shapes away. Left alone, Miles Hammond on strike, Cameron Bancroft at the other end. They'll have memories of just a week ago at Cheltenham College. What a vista that was, looking out at the rolling hills in the background, over the back of the Georgian Hospital opposite the balcony that we sat on what is effectively a sports hall, but in most other places it would feel like some ornate building that tourists are around at all times. But two cathedrals there, as there were, or two chapels I should say, at one end as well, stealing all the headlines here though. I have to say, with the puffy cloud it's looking pretty good. Max Holden looking pretty good as well, back in the side for Middlesex for this one. Hammond awaits, third ball of the innings. We'll clip to short fine leg. So slip in place at the moment. There's a short third, deep point, covering a mid-off, mid-on, deep square, and short leg. I was hesitating because there's no mid-wicket at the moment, so there is certainly an area to access there if Cornwall just goes a little too short or a little too straight. Keeps it outside off stump though. It's a beautiful start from Cornwall. He's not got much margin for error here with effectively, well not effectively, it is a 6-3 field. Anything that goes onto the body will go away into that big cap between mid-on and deep square. So he's got to keep it in that channel, just outside off. Will Hammond risk it though and try and go across the line? That's good again. 5 top balls, this is quite the start.
A really good start from Noah Cornwell. Been very impressive coming into this side. For the Vitality Blast, picked up 7 wickets in the campaign so far, and he's really started strongly here. If he can get out this over, it's the perfect start for Middlesex.
And a dot ball, a maiden over to start for Noah Cornwall. That'll feel good. Very good start for him here. Gloucestershire beaten last week at Cheltenham. They were cheering Middlesex on down the M5 and across the M4 to try and get that victory at Glamorgan, at Cardiff on Friday night. Middlesex did manage to put off back-to-back wins Thursday and Friday evening. It was a buoyant dressing room that left the ground at Cardiff. Tom Helm was part of that, a big part of the Middlesex T20 side for a long while. Opening up from the Graham Gooch end, formerly the Hayes Close ends. Helm, Cullen, and Cornwall backed up by Higgins. It started to have quite a dynamism about it for Middlesex seam attack. Certainly shape out there, isn't there? It's a little bit through the air for both Helm and Cornwall.
Yeah, notable early signs of movement. Doesn't usually hang around too long in with the white ball in the T20, so Middlesex will be looking to try and make some early inroads, but that's encouraging signs. Gloucestershire winning the toss and batting first, which they've been doing recently and doing it very well.
Oh, that sprays out and it sprays down the leg side. No real chance for Davies on that one. First runs of the innings coming via a wide as well, 5 of them. Costly for Middlesex and Helm. A little shake of the head as he walks back. It's just slipped out.
Yeah, Tom Helm just losing his line. Maybe just fell away a little bit there in his bowling action. Could tends to mean that the fast bowler will push it a little bit down the leg side. First runs on the board for Gloucestershire.
Oh, that's clever, but perhaps a little too clever. Held with a smile as well. Just that movement away that we've seen, that shape away, it makes it even more difficult, that shot for Bancroft. He's stepping across. The ball's moving away from him. Outside off. You need that little bit of bounce. We haven't seen that so much so far, the bounce here at Chelmsford, which you can see, but on this one it's certainly movement for both Cornwall and Helm. Oh, look, there it is. Now that has bounced. Look at that take off to Davies. It really went through nicely. That was beautiful, Dan. That was very funny. Chill. It was good. It was good. You can just see the timing's not there at the moment. A cut shot, most T20s, batters are really going to unleash, whether it's an uppercut, if you've got the infield up, as they pretty much are. There's deep third round towards deep points. But there's a tentativeness about both Hammond and Bancroft at the start here. Actually, it's starting to look like a pretty good toss to lose, I'd suggest, for Middlesex. Now, there he goes again. That's beautifully done. And it's gone for 6. Great execution. We said that it's pretty short down the grounds, and there's evidence of it.
Oh, wonderful shot from Bancroft. He attempted it earlier on, didn't connect, but he's got hold of that. It's so impressive how these batters can do it so early on in the innings as well. Bancroft, the Australian overseas. Lovely way to get off the mark.
Oh, bottom edge. Not far away from the off stump, that one.
.11 from the over. Better one for Gloucestershire. Tom Helm. His appearance today reaches 100 T20 matches, so great achievement for him. We're looking to add to his wickets tally. 9 so far in the 2024 Vitality Blast campaign. An opening pair, very impressive opening pair for Gloucestershire. Miles Hammond, leading run scorer in the competition for Gloucestershire.
Seventh dot ball for Cornwall, a little bit fuller, still the movement. And there's a shape of the hand from Hammond, signalling green. There's that little bit of shape away.
Definitely credit to deploy, just keeping that slip in place while there is the shape for the left armour.
Take points set back. So sticking in the power play with deep point and deep square back. Short down the ground means keep mid off and mid on up. There's no point trying to even think about going full, because any sort of little bit of leverage that the batter can get back over the bowler's head, it's down the ground. As you saw with the scoop there as well. It's brilliant as a shot as it was. That's the way that the batters will have to go to try and access that short boundary. But yeah, with the deep square and the deep points back, right-hander or left-hander, it's basically keep it just short of a length, just outside off stump. And that shape as well, that's the key. That's what's made it really difficult. If the ball is just short of a length, just outside off stump at a T20, it is a hitting zone as such, but if there's movement as there is here, that makes it far more difficult for the batter. There we go. That's that attempt to the pickup, and he does get it away. It's just a little bit straighter from Cornwall. And that's what allowed Bancroft to do it. You see, he jabs at it, though. It wasn't the most comfortable of shots.
Yeah, didn't completely get hold of this one, Bancroft. Looked like he just cramped him up a little bit on the angle. That ball just shaping back into the right-hander, but he's got it away over the infield, and on this sun-baked outfield, that ball's going to race away.
Cut hard and cut through. This is the danger, but it is a power play. There's not much you can do about it as a bowling side. You'll appreciate you're just trying to drop it a fraction short, just outside off, and it just means if he's slightly off there, as Cornwall was angling, then he's got a bank on it, hitting the fielder. Otherwise, it will be a boundary. That's run nicely. Oh, it just gets through. Blake Cullen rolling over the top of it. A little fumble as well. The pickup as well there for Joe Cracknell. End of the over. More expensive one. A maiden to begin. 11 off that one though for Cornwall. 22 without loss.
Yeah, it just looks like both teams having a little early look at this surface. Again, it's been very hot these last couple of days. It's not a old surface, but it's a surface that has been used last week. So with that sun baking in, maybe we can expect a little bit of turn. Maybe Blake Cullen, first change into the attack.
Put away first ball. A little bit of width. Short, little wide. It's been a good start for Middlesex, but what you generally need in a power play as well is a wicket. Otherwise, batters do eventually start to find the timing, find the feel of the pitch, of that ball on the bat. And talking of pick-up shots, oh, mind yourself in the dugouts. They're all ducking for Cullen. Including Mark Lane there, I think, went running for cover on that one. Former MCC Young Cricketers head coach. Wished him well when I saw him earlier. Not too well, of course, but it's a duck for cover in the dugout.
A very dangerous player, Miles Hammond. 362 runs in the campaign before this game started, averaging just over 30. So important that Middlesex look for early breakthroughs. It's always the aim. 3 wickets in a power play and you feel like you're on top.
Now, just short of the fielder. Again, that was in a slot where really you'd be thinking as a batter, this could go. Really get hold of it, though. Just the single taken for Hammond. 12 from 12. But Bancroft 16 from 10. They'll certainly be looking at the last 2.2 overs of power play here at Chelmsford as an opportunity to launch now, despite what was a very good start from Middlesex. So bowled again, slower ball. And that's where you can mix it up. You're looking to just keep it on a particular length, just outside off. But that does mean that the pace can change. The release of the delivery. But Middlesex will feel that they'll want a wicket at the moment. It's a reasonable start to the power play, but there's certainly a danger to the end of it. Now, has he got that through? No. Very good stop. Josh de Carey's tumbling to his left. Was a cry catch somewhere in the field, didn't quite carry though. 4 done, 34 without loss.
See Blake Cullen there very quickly into those variations, which I think is going to be important on this surface. Again, it's very dry. It's good for the spinner, but also good for the pacers, using those cutters.
A little bit of shade. It is a warm, warm day in Chelmsford. The driest county in English cricket. Do you know that one, Dom? Well, not on a Friday night, it's not, but...
Dad joke.
Gets that one through. It's a lovely shot for 4. It's over pitched into the slot.
They're a wealth of knowledge, Kev. Those kind of facts. Keep bringing them on.
My knowledge of a Friday night out in Chelmsford. No prizes for guessing the wettest county in English cricket. At least we all loved Manchester, though.
I wasn't going to make a comment.
Although I'm doubting myself on that one, though, because we always make the joke it's raining in Manchester, but Durham's got to have a fair bit, hasn't it? A little bit further north, but it doesn't necessarily work that way, does it?
Good again from Cornwell, just targeting those stumps, varying his pace. Hammond, we've seen a couple of examples now, just giving himself a little bit of room, looking to target that offside, but Cornwell bowling very well here. It's good, very good figures for the young left armour.
Bludgeons this one and gets it through. There we go. Talking about a full length. Mid-off and mid-on are up in the power play.
Lovely shot from Hammond. Stand and deliver. Just that fuller length, as Kev mentions, just allows the left-hander to swing his arms through. Playing nice and straight. He's in good form. Very dangerous player.
Maiden to begin with, which means he's gone for 20 off his last 10 deliveries. Needs to get out of the over here, Cornwall. Flat batted, quite timed it, but they all get the single.
Yeah, so turning into a good power play for Gloucestershire now. 7 balls remaining. 44 for no loss. The important thing there is that no wickets down so far. Really allows this Gloucestershire lineup to get going right from the start. Can Cornwall pick up a wicket with this last delivery here?
Oh, that's a nice delivery. Slower ball. It looked as though Bancroft was completely done by it, but a little inside tickle saves him. It picks up a boundary as well.
Yeah, just changing his angle there. Cornwell coming around the wicket, and he's very unlucky. Good slower ball on the stumps, but it is a batter's game sometimes.
Well, for once, it's a cricket watcher's weather here in the Blast. It's been a pretty miserable couple of months, hasn't it? I haven't really felt like we've had summer just yet, but maybe it's arrived. Just in time for Middlesex's final home game in the Blast. Of course, the Royal London One-Day Cup's coming up. I suppose if you're going to have worse weather, maybe for the Blast, you squeeze it in. You don't want a long, full day at a Royal London One-Day Cup. The pouring rain and the freezing cold. Slow ball to start up by Helm. That's well judged, and it's through. It'll be a boundary. Long chase for deep cover. That's the 50 up, start of the 6th.
Yeah, looks like as soon as this ball is going to beat the outfield, it's pretty much guaranteed a boundary. Yeah. Max Holden did get a hand on that, but it was hit well enough to get to the boundary rope, and that is the 50 up, 50 partnership for Hammond and Bancroft.
And again, gets the pick up. Doesn't go all the way though. Deep square is set there, and as big a boundary as it is, square of the wicket on each side, then it means the fielder almost can be too deep for the catch. They're back primarily though run saving at the moment. Those two sweepers, they're not thinking about the catch. For a championship match, you'd say come in a few yards. Slow ball again from Helm. We know that that's very much him at his best. Do get through for the single though.
Yeah, noticeable again. Variations, lots of variations from Helm, Cornwell and Cullen so far. Middlesex must feel like this could be a good pitch for the cutters. 3 deliveries left in this power play. It's Gloucestershire's so far.
Slow ball again, pace off from Helm. It's interesting this, isn't it, that there's that movement early on for Middlesex, but they're going to those slow balls at the end of the power play. And of course the other factor that we had right here at the start of this competition was Parkinson versus Holman. Spinners going head to head. Be interesting to see once we're out of the power play. Now Middlesex deploy the bowlers. It is Holman tossing the ball there to Helm. Oh, look at that one again. Still that bit of movement.
Are we able to see the replay on that one behind the bowler? Please.
Let's have a look one more time at that one. It's not a huge amount of movement, but it's enough when the batter's trying to get themselves into a little bit of position. Just to try and set themselves up. You can see that they're still not happy.
And Tom Helm, noticeable with his back of the hand slower balls. He really gets some bite out of the surface. And one just bounced up on Bancroft a little bit, surprised him.
Angled in again, just giving himself a little bit of room, Bancroft.
Playing about 4 slower balls in a row there from Tom Helm to end his second over, and that ends the power play. Gloucestershire's very much 56 for no loss from the power play. Very good power play for the visitors.
Perfect example on the wagon wheel there, isn't it? That there's only those 3 scoring, or 3 boundaries down the ground. Middlesex trying to say if you've got to score boundaries and you've got to go square, you might put it down the throat of deep point, deep square. Out of the power play, they'll continue with something similar. You'd imagine a deep square and a deep mid-wicket. Deep point. And with spin on, Luke Holman. Long off and long on will be back as well. I've just called that field without looking. I've been doing this too long. Need to go and get a proper job.
Yeah, this is the end that Luke Holman bowled against Kent a few weeks ago. It's a good success. Been very much the go-to guy in this campaign. 21 wickets so far. He's been the key strike bowler.
Right on the spot. Good start from Holman. He's full of confidence at the moment. He has been this season, Holman. It's been good to see. And he's got his tail up. Seems like nothing can stop him, nothing can put him off. Should just be a single. Sweeper back. That's the setup. Here's a big boundary. Good from Cracknell though. Good arm, strong arm, flat throw. But it's the way with most, isn't it? If your tail's up, then you fancy yourself in most situations. But I think that's certainly the key for Holman as a young spinner, young wrist spinner in particular. Don't let your head drop. Don't get too beat up by it all. You're going to have your ups and downs, but try and keep your head up, try and keep going. At the moment, you can always just see whenever he's checking the field like that, whenever he's looking around, a little tweak here or there. You always get the feeling that he's pretty confident. That's launched, and it bisects the fields. Nice pickup. Puts it into the gap. Perfectly into the gap between the two fielders as well. I think it had to be. Would they have had a chance? Where did it land? Oh, well. Was it a 4 or was it a 6? It was signalled as a 6. Yes, it was. Just in between the rope and the advertising board. Just the single to the two in the deep.
Yeah, and just going back on Luke Holman, I think one of the key things, he's been given a lot of responsibility in this campaign, and it's really working out for him. Best bowling figures of 5 for 16. He's had a 4 for 13 as well. He's relishing with that responsibility.
Single again. 65 without loss from 6.5 overs, pleasingly. Maybe not for Middlesex, though.
Yeah, Middlesex will need Holman to deliver another very good spell here today. It's been a great start for Gloucester.
Oh, up it goes. Cornwall's underneath it. And Cornwall holds on. Goodness me, he went fingers to the sky on that one. I thought he got himself in trouble. The Australian approach rather than the bucket, waiting for the ball to come down, but he picks up the catch. And Middlesex have their wicket, they have their breakthrough, and yes, it's Luke Holman again. Wickets end his first over. Big one as well as Hammond falls for 30 from 21. Skying that one. Looking for the big pickup shot at the end of the 7th. Big wicket, Middlesex. Picking up the first of this Gloucestershire innings. They're 65 for 1.
Yeah, very good end to the over. Much needed wicket. Holman just a little bit flatter. Hammond going that big slog sweep. Cornwell, we'll say he judged that one very well. Safely held. Hammond knew he was gone. A good innings though. He averages 30 and he went for 30. That brings to the crease wicket-keeper batter James Bracey at number 3. That wicket just drags Middlesex back into this game a little bit. Josh DeCary's spin from both ends.
Yeah, a bit of spin from the Graham Gooch end for Middlesex. Michael Atherton's first opening partner, of course, Graham Gooch. Unless memory's gone horribly wrong. Josh DeCary's father, Michael. Just the single brings Bracey on to strike then early against DeCary's.
Just tinkering with the field. Long on, long off. Deep square to the left-handed Bracey on both sides. Deep backward square. Punch nicely from Bracey to get off the mark. Lovely shot from Bancroft, very clever again as a chase on, and Blake Cullen is not going to get there. This ball racing away on this dry outfield. Very nice little reverse sweep from Bancroft. Just keeping Cullen interested, but ball wins the race. It's another boundary for the Australian overseas.
Chelmsford tucked for another single. Chelmsford over the years has been renowned as a big scoring grounds. Going back into the early years of T20, Graham Napier here at Chelmsford used to deposit a good number of balls into that river end. This one goes the other way towards the Hayes close end, but it goes straight into the hands of Martin Anderson. Bracey falls second ball, he goes for one. De Carey's has a wicket in his first over.
Another important wicket for Middlesex. It's the spin duo. Josh De Carey's getting in on the act. Big wicket. James Bracey, very positive player. Struck it nicely, but just a little flat. Dragged it. Martin Anderson not making any mistakes. Middlesex getting their way back in to this game.
He didn't really get hold of it, did he? Somewhere between a cross-batted pickup shot and a straight drive down the grounds. Caught in two minds, almost Bracey with that one. Webster comes in at 4. Oh, that gets through. Looking for the single.
It's 2 runs to end the over. Good one from De Carey's, a wicket, an important one. Yeah, Bracey just looking to go straight. Couldn't quite get all of it. Anderson making no mistakes. Comfortable catch on the boundary in front of those spectators. They're enjoying a nice evening in the sunshine.
Oh, a sandwich as well. It's the weather for it, isn't it? Sandwiches. Bit hot for burger and chips. It's really nicely flighted again by Holman.
Australian duo at the crease now. Bo Webster, the other overseas.
Just a little bit of width. Allowed him to rock back. Have a look at it. Googly of Holman, of course, is the big turning delivery for the wrist spinner. That was the googly. Just starting a little bit too wide and a little bit too short. It allowed Webster to the room once more. Just to get back and get into position to get it away into the offside. It was a cry of frustration from Holman, I think.
Good from Holman. Just build that pressure, build the dots. Good over so far, just a 3 from it.
And that one gets through. Webster, we're disappointed there actually, because you could see him hanging the head back. Again, it was just that little bit wider outside of the off stump. Quicker one dragged down by Holman. And it's the over 9 done. Gloucestershire winning the toss here at Chelmsford in the blast. 79 for 2.
Bo Webster signed for the Vitality Blast campaign. Very good all-rounder. He's featured in the Big Bash for Hobart Hurricanes, Melbourne Renegades and the Melbourne Stars. Good all-rounder, good signing. Partnering up with Cameron Bancroft. It'll be Ryan Higgins into the attack. Up against his former side.
Yes, his former county, of course, Higgins. So it's a hard one to describe, though, when he says former county, because back with his original county.
He plays an important role in these middle overs. Ryan Higgins varies his pace. Bowls very straight. 7 wickets so far in the tournament.
Ran the first hard, never really a chance of a second. Holden coming up from the ropes.
Middlesex will be pleased with how they've dragged this back. Gloucestershire scoring more than 50 runs without the loss of a wicket in the power play. Those 2 wickets have just slow proceeding slightly.
Should just be a single again. This was a problem for Middlesex, but they started really, really well. What would have nailed that start for them was a wicket. Second half, the power play came back though strongly for Gloucestershire, but as you say, just slowed up at the moment, Dom. Oh, nearly got himself in trouble. I think he went a little too early there. Higgins knew what he was up to. Went foot up outside the off stump.
He did go very early as well. Bowled from Higgins, just hold it back a little bit. Bancroft looking for that scoop. We saw him hit the only maximum of the game with that scoop earlier on.
It's a single, halfway there. Gloucestershire, they've won the toss. And they've put on 84 for 2 after 10 overs. So you can see just a slight little decline again in the Wern there. Just easing back down after a trajectory that shot up. What, second over, picked up for the third, fourth, fifth. Ended the power play. They were getting there, but those couple of wickets just checked the work here of the visitors. But Bancroft's 39 from 29 is still a real danger. He only needs 1 to get in with them now. And well, back 10, you'd have thought they'd won at least 100. Trying to eye 200 here at Chelmsford. Oh, now that was in the slot. And now it's very nearly in the river. How have they got it on it? It's hit the back row up there. That seems to sit up sweetly for him. When he cleared that front leg, then all of a sudden that was in the slot. Just a little bit too straight from Holman, a little bit too full. Gave himself the room, and that was leveraged.
Valiant attempt on the top tier. Luckily he didn't fall in the river.
And this one, oh goodness me, slams into the windows up there. Think that's the press box. That is the 50 of Bancroft's. 51 from 31 deliveries. 5 fours, 3 sixes. Now here, watch this. Which one does it hit? Oh goodness me, I think that's the radio boxes. Not 3 sixes in a row, just the 2. A single tickled by Bancroft moves to 52. Gerald Ed Seaborn, who was on the mic last week, on the balcony with me down at Chelmsford. Guy Swindles behind the glass up there for BBC Radio today. I think we need to get a slow-mo on the moment it hits the window and just see which one of Guy and Ed ducks for cover and which one goes for the catch. Oh, he's swinging these and he misses. And that is the end of Webster. Gone for 9. Holman hits back. Couple of sixes to start the over. It's exactly where his game is at the moment. Not perturbed, not put off. Not letting himself get down. Hit for a couple of sixes, no problem. Comes back with a single and then a wicket. Gloucestershire lose their 3rd in the 11th. They're 97 for 3.
Yeah, credit to Luke Holman. Hit for those 2 sixes, first 2 balls, but as you say, Kev, not perturbed. Always knows he's in the game. I think it was the googly, was it from Holman? It was the googly, very well bowled. Taking off stump out the ground as well. Lovely sight for any bowler. Webster really opening up, looking to take on the big shot there, but beautifully bowled from Holman, and he's delighted. His 2nd wicket. Gloucestershire lose their 3rd, and that brings to the crease the captain, Jack Taylor.
Someone's got to stick with Bancroft. It's a danger man at one end for Gloucestershire. Somebody can stick with him and go with him. Then Gloucestershire will still be thinking about 200 here, but the 3rd wicket falls. Still plenty of wickets in hand, but it just feels as though the innings at the moment could stutter and stumble. Single ends the over, 98 for 3. Here's that 6. Just to see the brave souls of the media centre up there. Let's see, there's 2 of them in the shot. One swings one way, ducks the other, one goes the other. Oh, right in the middle of them. That window's usually open as well. Just having a look to see, it's usually wide open, that window. I think it's hit the stanchion, hit the frame. Whether it would have... I mean, they certainly reinforced those windows up there, but... There was, of course, famously years ago, a 6 hit at Somerset, I think it was, and it went into the BBC Radio Wales commentary box where Ed Bevan was. That made Have I Got News For You that Friday night. Ian Hislop, a big cricket fan. One for the older listeners.
Is that your favourite show, Kev? Have I got news for you?
Actually is. Maybe I'm showing my age though. One for the older listeners. Hey, if we made Have I Got News, it's still going, isn't it? If we made Have I Got, hopefully for good reasons, Tom. If we made Have I Got News For You,
I was going to say I think I'd end up more on You've Been Framed than Have I Got News For You, but take any TV coverage you can get. You've Been Framed, maybe.
cut away. Yes, no. No, they settle on.
Yeah, you mentioned that someone just needs to stay with Bancroft. Jack Taylor very much the man to do that. 326 runs in the tournament so far, averaging 32 and a strike rate of 161. A very impressive campaign. Very dangerous player.
I think one of the great bits of that commentary that they played, that radio commentary, before I was rudely interrupted by our 13-year-old producer who's never heard of Ed Bevan or Have I Got News For You. The co-commentator was the former England and Glamorgan opener Steve James, and I think it was partly Steve James trying not to laugh as Ed Bevan ducked for cover as glass was flying everywhere. the worst one that we had, it was in a tent at Uxbridge. Oh, yes, no, again. Back they go. This is a real sign of the nerves out there at the moment, that it is wobbling a little bit, this innings. Could go one or two ways. Another quick couple of wickets here for Middlesex via a run out or however. Gloucestershire could wobble. But yeah, tent at Uxbridge. Dave Fulton was in the same commentary tent had as an outground for Middlesex Uxbridge then. And a 6 crashed into one of the stanchions, the frames of the metal frames of the commentary tent. The ball ricocheted around. It was like a pinball in there. It really was. It was extraordinary. The way that it hit one of those metal stanchions and just pinged around everywhere. Ooh, flicked. Fine. Off the hip. And for 4. Nicely done by Taylor. His first boundary.
Lovely timing. Cullen just a little straight. There's a one-handed, one leg up flick from Taylor. A lot of flair about it. So you mentioned that 6 that goes crashing, Kev. I'm assuming you went for the catch.
Well, I looked at former Kent captain Dave Fulton, who was sat next to me. He was also ducking for cover. I was like, well, I give up then. Dug out single 20 over, just the 7 off it, 105 for 3.
You say it's about on as even at the moment. Gloucestershire starting well, Middlesex coming back into it with those 3 wickets.
Good to see the kids in. We'll skip past the Essex hat on the end there, but England hat in the middle and on the near side, I think. Did see them. They were the guard of honour, I think, weren't they? The kids in shot.
A change of ends for Ryan Higgins.
Oh, wow. That's moved. Taylor looks back at the surface. That was an absolute jaffer. It really was. Starting straight. And Taylor thinking he could swing with the line of the ball, but that line changed dramatically. Just watch Taylor look back at the wicket after this one. The ball really did move on him. From probably what was the line, he was thinking of crashing into leg at best. That's hit halfway up. Well, 3/4 of the way up, middle and off. Here we go. Off the surface. Yep, almost a leg break that from Higgins. Trajectory out of the hand there. That's crashing into leg. And that just, was it late swing?
One more time.
I think it was a cutter.
I thought it was as well. It was just on that last one. I wonder, was there a little bit of late swing on it? Because there's the line. That's going into leg, middle, and no, it's still off the surface, isn't it? Taylor looks back at it. Very well bowled by Higgins. He'll have enjoyed that one. 1 for 6 as he starts his second. Tap for a single. Gets Chelmsford going.
This really was an incredible delivery from Higgins. One that a leg spinner would be proud of. Drastic movement off the surface and Taylor just completely playing down the wrong line. You look back at the surface with a smile. Another very important wicket for Middlesex. Just getting a little grip on this innings. Important time, important partnership to break.
One more wicket now, Middlesex will really be thinking about no more than 170, perhaps even 160, if they're being really greedy. And the big name, of course, for that is Bancroft. Comes back onto strike as Charlesworth gets a couple. He almost just needs somebody to push it around at the other end at the moment, I guess. So it's a difficult one for Bancroft because equally, if somebody's pushing it around at the other end, then the scoreboard's not moving. Bancroft himself probably feels now like he needs to be there in the 18th, 19th over of the innings. Played or bowled. Just a little shuffle advance from Bancroft. Higgins pushing it into the block hole. But yeah, it's a rock and a hard place at the moment. Bancroft's, as I say, he'll feel as though he needs to be there 18th, 19th over of the innings. But if the runs at the other end are drying up, Middlesex are bowling as well as this, 5 singles to end the over, then it really is going to get into the heads of the batters out there, you fancy. Both ends as well. Charlesworth will feel the pressure to not just let the scoreboard tick slowly. Equally, they've got to be careful not to let the wickets tumble at that end. But good viewing so far. This one should be a tight contest throughout the night. 200's gone now, you'd have thought. Should be gone for Gloucestershire. But with Bancroft there, who knows how close they can get to it. 110 for 4.
Yeah, this is a bit of a must-win game for Gloucestershire as well. This is their last game of the campaign. Middlesex have one more, but Gloucestershire currently sitting in 5th place. A win here would put them above Essex into a top 4 spot. An opportunity at quarter-finals.
Oh, a little dab. Helm has to give chase. He's done well there because that really did look like 2. It was clever from Charlesworth and it made Helm work. Good to see the real dedication from Helm though. You know, chasing down that ball, making sure there was only one.
More slower balls from Tom Helm. Difficult to get away. It's well bowled. This is really comes into his own, Tom Helm, with those variations. So yeah, Gloucestershire get a win today. They go on to 15 points, but they currently have a better net run rate than Essex, who sit above them. Bowled again from Helm in the block hole, just a single. So a win for Gloucestershire would move them on to 15 points, and therefore above Essex. Now Essex take the trip down to Hampshire, which then becomes a must-win game for Essex. So if Gloucestershire win here and Essex lose, Gloucester take 4th place. Big game. Whereas for Middlesex,
Oh, slow ball. He's done well. Worked it around the corner.
It gave himself room and a lovely shot. Bancroft into the 60s. He really is the key player now for Gloucestershire. 6 overs to go. Ten and over from here. Take Gloucestershire to 180. Luke Holman will come back in to the attack to finish off his spell. 3 overs, 2 for 27 so far.
Floated right up there, ended up in the block hole. Chelmsford happily taking the single. Back to Bancroft. He hit the 2 sixes, followed by the single before Holman picked up his wicket earlier. Just the single this time, though, for Bancroft.
Second now. Holman second, yeah.
Second what?
Behind David Payne, wicket taker this season.
Slides that one across. Nicely bowled again. Oh, and there's the googly that follows.
Bowling with real confidence, Luke Holman round the wicket. Floating that one in, googly away. Beautifully bowled again. A man full of confidence, and rightly so. 23 wickets now in the Vitality Blast this campaign. Just 1 wicket behind the leading wicket taker in the competition, David Payne, who we'll see in action later on.
Chipped straight and bisect the fields. Percentage shot really from Bancroft there. He hasn't gone hard at it. Aware that Holman's the danger man, and aware that he himself is the key for the Gloucestershire innings. It's nicely done. Swung hard and swung wide of long on and straight of deep mid wicket. 4 more.
It's a game of percentages. Bancroft could have very easily just seen Luke Holman out here. Last delivery of his spell, but took him on again. Dragged it towards mid wicket, but bisected the gap. That ends Luke Holman's spell. 11 runs from that over. Beautiful warm evening here in Chelmsford. Thursday night. Has more of a Friday night feeling about it here.
Cracking shot again there from Greg on the camera. Now that's up in the air and it's going all the way. Cracknell was having a go. We can hear the thud from here as it hits on the top floor. We're at the other end of the building, but even we could hear that from here.
Kev took cover very early then, straight under the table.
Not just a pretty face, sensible too.
A lovely pick up from Charlesworth. Good come back from Higgins. It really was a lovely pick up. That shot from Charlesworth. Big clang As that ball struck the building, just down from us. Perfect start to the over for Gloucestershire.
Shuffle from Bancroft, just the single though. Smiling as ever, Ryan Higgins. Really. Do you see him without a smile on his face, even in the grittiest of the fights?
And enjoy this challenge. Likes being right in the thick of the game, Ryan Higgins, especially here against his former county. Good figures so far, 1 for 19. Approaching the end of his third over. Important delivery here. Bancroft on strike, 71 not out.
Problem somewhere. Umpire Bainson signalling. They're looking back towards the Middlesex dressing room, which is below the press and the scorers at the river end. There we go. Down below. Can you pan down? Oh, Cornwall going off. You can just see Cornwall disappearing into the dressing room there down at the bottom. So a replacement fielder on. Maybe a slight knock or feeling unwell for Cornwall. We'll see if we can find out what it was, but it looks as though it was just that delayed matters.
It is hot out there in the middle, the sun beating down. Fingers crossed Cornwall's okay.
Now they'll think about two, just a single though. End of the over. 10 off it, 140. 140 for 4.
There's your batting card. Really has been Cam Bancroft, standing tall, had good support, opening up with Miles Hammond. Still batting to come as well, Price in next, can hit a big ball. Gloucestershire will be looking, 4 overs to go, 10 and over, get them to 180, which I think will be a pretty good score on this surface. Both teams will feel like they're very much in the game at the halfway point. As Kev mentioned earlier, Chelmsford, renowned for being a very high scoring ground. Short boundaries in areas as well, but I think Middlesex can restrict Gloucestershire to around the 1.7, 1.75 mark. They'll be pretty happy.
Oh, slow ball. Oh, when it gets through. Little bobble on Davies. Bancroft's going for something spectacular. Cullen's slower ball. It's too good for it though. Oh, it just jagged, didn't it? Oh, fair play to Davies. It was almost one of those catching boards down in front of him. That goes up and over. Gets it there with the bat in the air. Not quite the way he intended to do so though.
Another boundary for Bancroft. Top edge. Didn't know too much about it, but 4 more runs. Very good start to the over for Gloucestershire. 8 off the first 2 deliveries. Bancroft on to 76. Has a highest T20 score of 95 not out from 112 T20 matches. You'll have eyes on a century.
Yeah, exactly. So work in reverse. The reverse curse. Oh, now that's close. Really close. Bancroft can probably feel a little hard done by there. Can we see again? I don't think he stepped across. Again, this is one of my bugbears at the moment. If a batter steps across for the cut shot, you see there, maybe it was. Maybe it was that step across. Was it on the line? How much of the line do you need to have? The line is the umpires, of course, generally in cricket. Step across again. Oh, that nearly took his ankle off. Slap down the grounds. Good stop by Anderson. He's done really well there. Managed to keep his feet inside as well. Picked up a couple though. 150 up. 150 for 4 from 16.4 overs. It's 100 balls, John. As long as I get one of the 3 bits to laugh, then I'm happy. He's very happy with that one. Can we have Pete back again? Oh, up in the air. Takeri's underneath it. He's steadying himself. Slight adjustment at the end. A step to his left, but he holds on. And there you go. It was swirling on him. It was spinning. But he holds on nicely. Cullen has a wicket. Bit of Monty Python. It's Chelmsford 150 for 4 then. Big wicket as well. Bancroft goes for 78 from 49. Middlesex needed that. My apologies, Charlesworth it was that fell. Gone for 15 off 14. Wicket nonetheless.
Bowled from Cullen. Not really in the slot for Charlesworth to have a go at, but top edge went high, and Josh Takeri's did well to keep his eye on it. Spinning ball, swirling, coming out the blue sky, never easy, but he held it well. Another important wicket. It brings Price to the crease. And Tom Helm.
The scoreboard was wrong at the bottom, which threw me when I commentated on it. Single gets Price on to strike, second ball of the over. It threw me as well because the scoreboard seems to keep getting stuck, so it was on the wrong batter. So I went
Final over for Helm. And leave 2 overs. Cornwell still has 1 left and has good figures. Looks like he might have just returned to the field as well and down to fine leg. So it's good to see. And Cullen also has 1.
Stands up tall for the single on that. Hook's fine. Just eludes the fielder down there as well, which is Cornwall back on the park. Picks himself up.
Probably would have been hoping for a little easier introduction back onto the field there, Cornwall. Just snuck underneath. Another boundary for Bancroft. It's been a wonderful innings so far. 84 not out from 51 deliveries. 15 balls remaining in the innings. He'll be looking for that first T20 100.
Slow ball from Helm. Just a single again, but we did say if Middlesex were particularly greedy, they might even think about restricting them to 160. That was if they got Bancroft early, though, or earlier. Still have some small greed inside of them that will think 170 if they could get a couple of wickets on the board pretty quickly, especially Bancroft. Just the single again.
Yeah, Gloucestershire from here. Want at least 180. We're looking at 185, 190 if it goes really well. These last couple of overs, Middlesex, they can keep Gloucestershire to below 175. I feel like they've done a good job. They'll be very much in with a chance of a third win on the bounce.
It's gone hard, it's gone fast, but it's a good sliding stop by Cracknell. He's quick in the outfield, quick around the ropes. Again, that strong arm as well counts for a lot. There's no taking one for the throat. Against Cracknell, end of the 18th, 12 balls to go at Chelmsford. This Vitality Blast match for the live enhanced stream for Middlesex in association with Dapperbet. 161 for 5. Gloucestershire having won the toss, and you can see that partnership between Bancroft and Charlesworth was crucial there in just getting them going again. So it's definitely a wobble up to and including the start of that partnership. Middlesex will hope for one more wobble at the end in these final 12 deliveries and really try and keep this one down. So Higgins it is. I often see Higgins take the final over from an end. Cornwall was an option, but he's come back on the field. I'm sure I saw him out grazing in the deep, but maybe not an option with the ball at the end. Equally the wily old experience of Higgins. Oh, where's that one gone? Long on's underneath it, and it's gone straight to the fielder. Helm takes the catch. 162 for 6. Bancroft falls. Higgins 2 for 22. And a good call by the skipper to go to Higgins at the end. Thought Cornwall as well with that over. Left in and left armour as well. But he's gone for a little bit of experience and it's paid off. It's a big wicket. And Middlesex will have a little bit of greed in them again now and think about 170 here. Let's put a little bit of pressure on the end of this Gloucestershire innings.
Yeah, well played, Cam Bancroft. Very good innings of 87. Just looking to clear the ropes again. Didn't quite get all of it. And Helm, we've seen him take a few catches in the outfield this season, and there's another one for him. Comfortable catch, and it's a very good knock from Cam Bancroft, and an important wicket for Middlesex.
Ends up being a full toss, a low full toss, just scrambled for a single.
Very timely, that dismissal. Just puts Middlesex on top for these last 9 deliveries. 2 new batters at the crease.
Into the block hole again. Really good this from Higgins. If you swing at that and miss, there's only one result. Higgins giving it every chance that it'd get underneath the bat as well if they did try to swing. Going to have to gamble here. They do have 4 wickets still. So they go deep into the crease, so they charge. Steps back, goes deep. It's a low full toss and it's out! Push back down the ground. Higgins gets a hand on it, a little chuckle as well. A heavy price paid at the non-striker's ends. Taylor driving it back. Higgins offering it on. Ollie Price has to fall for 4. Unfortunate way to go, but good pressure built by Higgins. 164 for 7.
Very good from Ryan Higgins. He'll claim that he knew a lot about that. This return back to him is a good delivery, driven back, and he has done very well to get his hand onto it. Price a little unlucky, but looking to make the most. Running hard. Higgins does well. A wry smile.
Low full toss again. This is really good from Higgins at the end here, especially to lower order batters. See the response of Taylor was to go really deep in the crease and just hope that Higgins underpitched slightly on his Yorker and then he'd get the leverage. Not so. 4 singles, 2 wickets, 165 for 7. Middlesex will be desperately hoping for one more very good over here. And Gloucestershire should be light. Oh, well, very famous Gloucestershire fan there, Adrian Thomas, big statistician down at Bristol. Always emails in, sends in the stats. Not sure whether he works in official capacity for the club, but certainly one of the very renowned statisticians and historians down at Gloucestershire. So Cornwall it is from the Graham Gooch ends, the Hayes Close end formerly. He started up at the River end, did wonder whether he was well enough. Back on the field, suggests that he is. And Deploy throwing in the ball. Close call between Cullen and Cornwall for this final over. Left armour perhaps just gets the edge. Cullen not bowled out, 1 for 26 from 3. That's good. Slow ball onto the stumps. I was wondering if I was being a little bit too optimistic on Middlesex's behalf, talking about 160, 170 as a restriction for Gloucestershire, but this should feel very good for Middlesex walking off the field right now. Of course, the start will dictate everything.
Yeah, you'd say it's been Gloucestershire's first 10 overs, but very much Middlesex's second. Regular wickets, just chipping away. Just helps keep that run rate down. A little discussion between captain and bowler.
Low full toss again. This one might get punished, and it does. There was a little bit of width with it as well. Slapped through. Oh, fancy footwork on the sidelines as well. Up in the air. Deep mid-wicket's underneath it, and deep mid-wicket holds on. Cracknell rolls it back in, comfortable as you like. So a couple of crackers out there in the deep. In the first home match at Chelmsford, that one was comfortable for Cracknell. I think Deploy as well. Deploy and Helm, was it maybe? It's almost catching competition in that match alone. Slow ball into the surface, that one, from Cornwall. And the short ball works. Taylor falls for 7. And Gloucestershire 171 for 8.
Yeah, well bowled from Cornwall. Deploy and Cornwall did just have that discussion a couple of deliveries before. Changed up the field. Pushed deep square and deep mid-wicket back. Gone well. Dropping short. Slower ball, really hard to get away. Very well bowled, and Cracknell taking his 7th catch of the Blast campaign.
David Payne, a left arm seamer on strike. Oh, that's going to be a no ball. They'll pick up a single. It gives Shaw the strike for the free hit. Be a warning for Cornwall as well. You'd rather hope with 2 balls to go of the innings still. That won't be a warning that should trouble him too much. The free hit signalled by umpire Bainton. Now this could be costly. Just looking at those last 2 balls before that delivery, thinking, can Cornwall get out of this? Can Middlesex keep them down at 170? But a no ball, single taken off it, and now a free hit. Where can these final 2 deliveries take this innings? Long off, long on back, deep mid-wicket back, deep square back, deep point. Oh, Cornwall goes into the surface with it, goes down the ground. Oh, and it gets through! Helm, I think, forgetting that it was a free hit, was half in the mind to take the catch. No, it comes charging in. Didn't need to. It was never going to be a catch. It was a free hit, and it's a costly step over. Oh, onto the pads, but going down. Left arm around. It'll be a leg bye to end the innings. 20 done. Gloucestershire winning the toss, electing to bat here. They do scramble up towards 180 at the end. 180 is the target for Middlesex to win, but 179 for 8 should be a total that Middlesex will be relatively happy with here. A good start to the power play. Gloucestershire fought back, and Bancroft was the key with 87. But Middlesex will be pretty happy with the 2 for Holman, the 2 for Higgins as well, who comes out with by far the best economy of that innings. Cullen Carey's going nicely as well. Someone's got to play the Bancroft role, though, for Middlesex if they're to win this one, though. He held it together on a pitch that was turning a bit. It'd be interesting to see how much it does in the chase as well, especially with the floodlights on. We'll take a very short break here on the live and enhanced stream from Middlesex. We're live at Chelmsford for this one in association with Daffabet. We'll be back in just a few moments. John Ford with myself, Kevin Hands. And the chase will be 180 for Middlesex. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Chelmsford for the live enhanced stream from Middlesex in association with Dapperbet. Don Ford and myself, Kevin Hand, on the mic for this one for you. The target is 180 to win for Middlesex. 200 probably would have felt close to a winning score for Gloucestershire. 180 a fraction light. Get him on camera. Get him on camera, he's dancing again. Music's going off around the grounds. A few shapes being cut here, there and everywhere. Let's try and get a few of them on camera. Here come the Middlesex openers, Martin Anderson and Lias Deploy. Change up at the top for Middlesex in the blast this year. Eskenazi and Holden had been the opening pair. New signing, Deploy, and the skipper tonight as well in the absence of Eskenazi. Probably would have been an opening pair, but Anderson in the power play with the shackles off. It feels as though it is an opportunity for him to really make a name for himself, make a position for himself in this side. Wasp 62%. So there you go. It's not quite cut and dry, this one. So David Payne, slip in place. Decent start, right on the spot. The interesting part will be the movement here, won't it, to see if there is that same kind of shape that Middlesex got. A little bit of early swing. There was definitely movement off the surface. Ryan Higgins found that. Nicely stroked again, only as far as cover. Same ploy from Gloucestershire with deep square and deep point back.
He's the key bowler for Gloucestershire, has been for many years now, David Payne. 24 wickets, leading wicket taker in the competition this season.
Oh, that goes. Goes for a wide as well. It's really moved once more. Let's just have a little bit of look for a little bit of late swing. Oh, we're off the surface again. That's seam movement. Steered by Deploy. It's getting over the top of it, angling that bat. First ball for Martin Anderson. Coming up. Again, a little bit of freedom at the top of the order. Go out there and swing. There you go, step to the pitch, gets it away. Not quite going to get full reward for it, but he'll pick up a couple. Freedom to be the aggressor. Play without pressure, play without nerves, just go out there. Lay bat on ball, see where it takes you in the power play. Could really... Little inside edge. Movement again though, coming back in to the right-hander. A little step from Anderson. Oh, that has gone straight through him. Goodness me, hands on head for Payne and no surprise whatsoever. A step down the pitch again and oh, goodness me. Left arm up to a right hand up, ball moves back in. That's pretty much the setup. Not much Anderson can do about that, but he survived it. 4 off the first over.
That's David Payne at his best. Left arm angle, swinging back into the right-hander.
What a bit of pink stuff in those. What are you going for? What do you reckon it is? What's that stuff? Cider and snake bite and black. Snake bite, Matt?
Bit heavy for a Thursday evening, isn't it?
Light in Chelmsford. Who didn't live on that? Chipped, but checked by Deploy. He knew he didn't have it. He knew he was risking putting that straight to the mid-on fielder. It's the legs, just a single. This might be the matchup now, Anderson and Shaw. Oh, how long can he stay with it? Over the back of the river, swooping into the ground, seeing any leftovers from the interval. A few chips left hanging around. Slapped away by Anderson. Strong driver of the ball, and he gets that one through.
Lovely shot. Martin Anderson has been in great form with the bat this campaign. Middlesex's leading run scorer. And a half century in this reverse fixture. Last week, 52. Batting at 6 in that game, opening up here, and that's a good start.
Steps through it again and then powers this one. It's halfway forward as he punched that, just a single. Now it's Deploy who gives it the charge. Oh, very close. Deep point coming in. Charlesworth there.
Good effort from Charlesworth. Not easy picking that up out of the sky. Splice from Deploy. Charlesworth coming in. Just about got there, but that's a really tough chance.
Oh, it would have been a screamer if he'd have held on. Then drops the single. To keep the strike, end of the over. Better one for Middlesex, 9 coming off it. 2 gone, 13 without loss. 180 the target. Plenty to ponder in the first 2 overs. They'll have realised Middlesex that ball was moving. Right at the start of the Gloucestershire innings and moving a lot. They've realised got themselves into an almighty mess at Cheltenham last week against Gloucestershire. Still Payne. Still Payne back for a second over. which in itself can be a danger for sides, keeping bowlers on for consecutive overs. Every time deployed drops that single, I do think this will be the point that Anderson opens up. 7 from 5, he's hardly stalled. Going better than his opening partner, but it does feel as though at the top he is the one that perhaps needs to be the aggressor. Oh, now that kept low, it fancied. It really dribbled through to the keeper. Might have been a little bit of a bottom edge on it. It sounded as though there was a noise.
Not easy to get someone with the skill of David Payne away. Lots of variations. You can get a lot of movement. Very, very good T20 bowler.
Oh, that's a thick edge. Flies down to deep backward point. There were a couple of cries of catch out there. Cover point in play. But fine at the fielder. They pick up a couple more. Hasn't quite got it sweetly out just yet. Angled across, nicely done by Payne. No movement back in on that one, just holds its line.
Yeah, we did see a slightly slow start to the Gloucestershire innings as well, but the required run rate, nearly 9.5 for Middlesex. They won't want to get that above 10. I want to try and stay on top.
Oh, another one. Angled across him, swing and a miss.
Very well bowled from Payne. Brilliant over this, just the 3 from it. Middlesex looking to make the most of this power play. Anderson the aggressor.
Works for the single, he'll keep the strike, end of the over, just the 4 off it. That's 8 off his first 2 for Payne. It's excellent from him. Not too dissimilar the start to the Gloucestershire innings. Bancroft went on and he went big. Big 50 for him. You fancy one of these two needs to do the same.
Yeah, good start for Gloucestershire. Middlesex won't mind. They know they've got the hitting in the shed for a late push, but Anderson and Deploy will be there for a good start. They'll look to make the most of this power play. I think we might see Anderson try and open his arms this over. Taylor coming in from the Graham Gooch end to replace Shaw. Another left armour.
Quite the sprint from Taylor as he approaches the crease. And slip through to the top of middle stump there. It's hard to get it away. Huge credit to the Gloucestershire bowlers here at the start, just as it was for Middlesex at the start of the Gloucestershire innings. Very similar start throughout this first 4 overs. It's just working here, working there from Middlesex. The occasional attempt at a sweet swing of the bat. But Taylor's picked up where Payne and Shaw left off.
I think it's pretty clear. It's not easy to get this ball away. It's not racing onto the bat.
That was crunch, but straight to mid off again. Yes, no. There was the thought of running the misfields to Shaw, but never run the misfields.
There's not been anything too full at all really from Gloucestershire here. Everything's been into the surface on a good length or just pulled back a little bit, not allowing Anderson or Deploy to really swing through the arc.
Deep point and deep cover. It's exactly the same approach as Middlesex. No change at all here from Gloucester at the start. Middlesex got it right at the start of Gloucestershire's innings. The visitors are doing it the same. In the chase, mid off and mid on up. Keep it just short of a length. Tight to the top of that off stump. If anything, they've perhaps put it tighter on that off stump. There hasn't been as much beating the bat as there was in the first innings. There's a charge that sees the bat beaten. Good bit of bounce. Deploy perhaps suggesting a little bit of movement off the surface there as well. Wasp has dipped down to 59%. The DLS, only as a barometer, not in terms of the weather. It's 27 for the end of the over. So with a single, Middlesex are 6 shy of the par score for DLS. 21 without loss after 4.
Very good over from Taylor. Again, backing up. Payne in the over before, just 3 from it from Taylor. Let's see. This is where Gloucestershire just started to put their foot on the gas a little bit. At the same stage, they were 34 without loss.
Speaking of gas,
Didn't you have one of those?
maybe. Oh, listen to that. That was sweetly struck by Anderson, really was. Crunched away. Probably didn't even get all of it, actually, but it's a sweet sound off the bat. 1 bounce and 4. Again, it's a big boundary. Square of the wicket. That's right into that corner as well.
Yeah, lovely shot from Anderson. Much needed boundary, just release that pressure a little bit.
Dragged on this occasion. And dragged for 4 more. Back-to-back boundaries to start the over. 20 for Anderson.
Yeah, good from Anderson. It's been tough going these first couple of overs, but looks like he's just starting to get used to the pace of this surface. Again, didn't quite get hold of it, but it's the advantage of the power play. With most of the fielders in the ring, you just got to get it over the top. That ball's going to race away on this outfield.
Walking down the track to this one, he top edges it, and he top edges it for 6. Well, fortune favours the brave. He's got a couple of nice shots away, and then he charges for the next one, trying to keep it going. Not sure what he's checking for there, Anderson, but he's checking for something.
A really good start to this over. 14 from it. Anderson on to 26.
Pressure's pushing back to the bowler now, so where does Anderson go? Doesn't really need to go anywhere. Goes for a walk again. Oh dear. And then he backs away. Almost put himself under pressure there when he didn't need to. The pressure shifting to the bowler. 3 boundaries on the bounce, a 6 as well. And oh, goodness me, has that edged off the stump?
He's hit the stump. How that's not removed the bails. Pretty sure.
Oh, I think it has as well. That's hit the off stump. Wow. I'm not even sure. Well, they've gone up for the catch behind the stump. Bracey's gone up for the catch, not realising, or either he did realise. Drag for a single. Can only once think of a ball hitting the stump that hard before, and that was at Grace Road against Leicestershire. But this one, I mean, it glances it all right, but even still you'd have thought, oh, just pushes it to one side, doesn't it? You just see the bail move a little bit as off stump moves ever so slightly towards the middle. Extraordinary. Who was our Aussie all-rounder that couldn't score a run but used to bowl all right? We brought him as a batter. Who's the Aussie all-rounder that we brought in? Couldn't pick up a run but used to get a few wickets. That's gone nicely down the grounds. One bounce and 4.
Lovely shot. Leas deploy. Really good over for Middlesex. Deploy allowed just to open up his arms, taking a step away and slapping that ball back down the ground. 19 from the over. Much needed for Middlesex. 39 for none from 5 overs. At this same stage, Gloucestershire were 48 for none, so that was a much needed over for Middlesex. That required run rate just coming back down a little bit. Anderson on the attack. Seagulls viewing.
That's crazy, that's just arrived. I think he threw up.
Tom thinks he threw up. Tom thinks he threw up.
Because I saw when they stopped it and they pointed at him and he looked like he was like bent over, like when he got back up.
He thinks he threw up. Did a Zinazine Zidane. Oh really? Good from Taylor again. Just a single. It's an important over at the end of the power play. So it could go one or two ways. Dot ball and a single to start. Over to Deploy, who actually himself now will be feeling a little bit of pressure on 11 from 12. Anderson getting going, 28 from 20. Look at what's happened to the Wasp though. Dipped down into the 50s, now up into the 70s. Middlesex are ahead of the DLS after that last over. 38 it is for the next delivery. Middlesex are 40 without loss. There's the swing and the miss. Just feel that Deploy is fancying end of the power play. 12 deliveries, 11 runs. We'd have felt the pressure to find some boundaries, try and maximise these last few deliveries with only 2 out. Those 2 remain deep square and deep mid-wicket. Deep square and deep point. Oh, now that hits a midship and that hurts. That really hurts. I don't think it's hitting the worst place at all. I think it is up in the abdominal region, almost towards the rib actually, which actually is where you then really worry. I think you'll need a few of those after the game. Kids enjoying themselves though. Sunriser's hat on in there as well. And one gentleman watching the stream as well. Well done, sir. Someone swiping left and right.
No, he had a device in his hand, he was looking down at it, wasn't he? Have you got a replay of that hitting him a midship from behind the bowler, please? Sorry? Have you got a replay of it hitting him from behind the bowler? I don't think it was in the box, was it? No, I think it was his chest.
See if we can have a look again at the where it did strike, because he was crouched down so much. That's why I think it was higher up. Yeah, you see, it's up towards that rib, and I think that's why it hurts. Because he's gone through it, the shot. He's turned away from the side where the protection for the left-handers all down the right side of the body. Because he was through the shot, that was almost hitting on the left rib cage. Didn't have the physio out though, so hopefully it did hit flesh rather than bone. Oh, Taylor puts it onto the same spot. Brave from deploy this time. He goes after it again. Just the single.
Have you got it behind the bowler time to see one more final time? I think that last angle actually worked quite well, but
That last angle helped. Let's just see this one here. Oh yeah, it's hit actually almost right in between the ribs, isn't it?
is that called the cranium? That's the head, isn't it? In between the ribs. The cranium, yeah. What's this bit called? Sternum. Sternum, that's it. Thank you.
Single taken. End of the 6th. End of the power play. 42 without loss. My medical knowledge is being laughed at in the or lack of it is being laughed at in the commentary box here. The sternum is in between the ribs there. That was roughly around that area. Nasty blow.
End of the power play. You can see just that. Gloucestershire have forced Middlesex to be playing very square. They'll be pretty happy though, Middlesex. No wickets lost at the end of the power play. Put them into a good position going into this next phase of the game. 42 runs on the board. Spin is introduced, important part of the game.
Well, he went early, Anderson. Backing a long way outside the leg stump. Picks up the single. Tom Smith saw him down at Cheltenham College last week. Didn't play in that game. Was very close to playing in it though. Now in for Chelmsford, former Middlesex, Sussex, Surrey spinner. Very popular anywhere that he went. Oh, that's launched by deploy. Dismissive strike that. Up onto the roof of the bar.
Lovely shot, deploy. Likes playing against spin. No sighters there. Just plants that ball straight back down the ground. Beautiful strike. He admired it as well. Hit some tiles, not quite into the river.
No pints were spilled in the... A little bit of drift there for Smith, but deploy was happily in position early to take the single. And a 50 partnership, 50 up for Middlesex. 39 balls, 26 minutes, which Middlesex will be pretty happy with here. Building their way into this chase. Definitely a little bit of drift out there for Smith. Comfortably back for 2 on that one, guided away by Anderson. Wasp climbs to 74%. DLS 48, so it's only just in front. A wicket changes that dramatically. Dab, and Middlesex can start to play with Gloucestershire a little here. Although the margins are still fine in terms of DLS and the Wasp. A wicket changes it greatly, but just keep those wickets in hand at the moment. Middlesex have got a lot of firepower to come. Strong partnership built already. It'll be a wides. And then that one, he puts very close to deploy. Deploy in danger there of putting it down the throat of Hammond. That long off. He was also in danger of getting right inside the line of that one. NC over with a single though. 13 offered. Another good over for Middlesex. 55 without loss after 7. They're in a strong position here to make it 3 from 3.
Yeah, I'll be very happy with this start. Middlesex, no wickets down, 7 overs gone.
I think he thinks it's pretty even at the moment. 1-1 maybe. Scores are level, he's suggesting. Moving on. That gets through. It's beautifully guided by Deploy. And that's where the pressure's off. That Middlesex can start to try and play this at their own tempo now. There's been a lot of swinging and missing. Deft little dab down to deep third.
Beautiful shot. It's not a bad delivery at all from Webster. Targeting those stumps, but Deploy getting enough on it.
Oh, that's a great stop. Come back for 2. Prevented the boundary, though. Charlesworth. Incredibly, he was taken a bit from his own fans down at Cheltenham College last week, out of the ropes. The couple that got through, which is pretty harsh, because almost starkly in contrast with here at Chelmsford. Cheltenham, it's very short square of the wicket and long down the ground. That one's dragged down the ground here, but all along the floor. They're playing shot a ball at the moment, Middlesex, but it doesn't feel like high-risk cricket. The Wasp climbs again to 80%. Just got to keep it ticking. Anderson walks to that one and slams it out of the ground into the Hayes Close end, into the estate over the back, the Felsted School stand. It's a big, big shot.
What a pickup from Anderson. You see him take those steps forward very regularly. It's a beautiful strike. Swing of the bat. Just timed, but it's a big shot. Wonderful 6.
It's Anne's pantry up the back that he's hit there. Pasty puts one into the pantry. Oh, that's a good comeback from Webster. Really good finish. Just a little bit of shape away from Anderson, who was left looking for it. 112 needed from 72 deliveries, 68 without loss, Middlesex. You've been into Anne's pantry yet, Dom?
I haven't, I must say, but it sounds like I need to take the trip.
Not sure it's open tonight, but well worth it when you have the chance. They'll spot the big screens on them in a moment. Cameras linked up for both the stream tonight and the screen.
Funky shirt.
I think that shirt and that hat need to be combined. Holly Price into the attack for the first time. Spin replacing spin. Left arm finger spin replaced by some off break from OJ Price. Oh, reverse attempted by Deploy, but nothing on it. We'll step to the pitch again from Anderson just for the single. Reverses, that's coming to us. Thumps into the advertising board just out in front of us. Sweetly struck.
Yeah, Deploy getting inventive. Very creative batter. Nice switch hit. Struck it really nicely. Just a couple of bounces away to the boundary. Deploy onto 32. It's a wonderful partnership. Up to 74 now.
I was wondering if the trajectory of that was going to send it towards our window, but dipped down. A couple of bounces into the advertising board in front of us. Slap into the covers. Waiting the cry. Oh, a little reverse again. This time just the bottom edge on it to end the over. Just 6 off it. Good start from Price. It's reins Middlesex back a little bit. 74 without loss after 9.
At the same stage, Gloucestershire 78 for 2. Beautiful sunshine coming through. Late Thursday evening.
Sun setting here at Chelmsford. Hasn't quite set on Gloucestershire's chances just yet, though. A wicket would even things up pretty quickly, as we saw on the DLS. Middlesex haven't charged clear of it just yet. And as we saw, all of a sudden, a couple of wickets changes everything. Pace off. Does for Anderson. Looking to swing down the grounds. Because it is so short down the ground here, it is worth the risk for batters to try and take it on straight. If you get the chance, try and send it back over the bowler's head. On that occasion he didn't. Had to check the shot in the end because he nearly was through it too early. Outside the line of off, big appeal, but he'd stepped a long way down and even further across.
More extravagant movement off the surface. We saw with the Higgins wicket earlier on, of hitting the seam and jagging away. That delivery from Webster just jagging back into Martin Anderson.
That's what he was looking for. Anderson just the single. It slowly started to work the ball around earlier when they were a little bit stuck, Middlesex, but they've broken free of that at the moment. Well clear. If they can keep their heads. Halfway stage, we're probably behind them actually, aren't we? Weren't they 80? Heaved into the onside by Deploy. Wow. Now, how far does that go? Can't even see it. Into the haze close end it goes. Massive shot.
Absolutely whacked that Martin Anderson. What a strike. Straight out of the ground. Graham Napier style, that has gone an absolute mile. Beautiful strike.
It's gone into one of the back gardens, hasn't it? Haze close. Former name of the Graham Gooch end. Someone will wake up to a new ball in the morning. It's interesting now because that's tightened it up. We were going to have a look at this at the end of the over. Gloucestershire 84 at the halfway stage. 84 for 2. So that has just timed out. Middlesex 82 without loss.
Yeah, you'd say Middlesex are on top here, going into this second set of 10 overs. Williams Racing, F1. Yeah, just, even though slightly behind on the runs, just below 10 and over required, but no wickets lost. Is that important? Important column. Lias Deploy, 33, Martin Anderson, 47, both set, not out batters. Really starting to find their stride.
Hey, 2 Sunrisers hats on the go down in the floor ground.
Which one? How is it? Oh, it looks a bit like Loz. I see a smile.
That's Flynn.
Who?
Mascot. Up the Flynn.
You can say Flynn.
Flynn, the mascot there for today. Nice to see the crowd having a good,
No, he's get changed gloves.
enjoyable Thursday evening. Great game on here. 98 to win, 60 balls, 10 wickets in hand.
Late change of gloves after the drinks break for Anderson. Will upset the umpires. Jack Chantry saying, come on, get on with it. You had time to do that already. Upset the umpire. What a good idea. From bowler as well, Jack Chantry. Tom Smith back for a second over. He nearly floated that past the edge, wide outside the off stump. It would have been well outside the tram lines, that one. But with Deploy giving the charge, he had to be careful not to be stumped. Tucked up, just a single. Two taken. Deployment's 36, 86 without loss. 94 from 57 though, it's still a danger. I mentioned that Gloucestershire were 84 for 2 at the halfway stage, Middlesex 82 without loss. Just means put a couple of wickets on that scoreboard and the game changes. Now, that's heaved over the top of the short third. Another boundary, a welcome one for Middlesex. Scooped it up and over, didn't he? Fine shot by Deploy. And an opening partnership here that's put an awful lot of pressure on Gloucestershire, but they won't have lost hope at all just yet. They'll have known how sticky the second half of their innings was. Still drift. Doesn't do anything to perturb Deploy though. He's absolutely cracked that away through mid-wicket. A lot of bottom hands.
That's a beautiful innings this from Lias Deploy. Really seeing the best of Middlesex's new star batter in this tournament. 44 from 31, striking the ball so cleanly.
And how cleanly has he struck that one? Oh, just enough. Didn't quite get all of it. Again, it's short down the ground. That's where it's almost worth the risk here. It moves Deploy to a fabulous 50 from 32 deliveries. He gets there ahead of Anderson in the end with a couple of boundaries to go ahead of him with a strike rate of over 150. And the openers have put in Middlesex into a very strong position to make it 3 wins in a row.
Brilliant innings from Leas deploy. 20th T20 50. It's come at a vital time, just 32 deliveries, 5 fours and 2 sixes. 100 up for Middlesex, 100 partnership.
Gloucestershire, who for so often, for so long, were Middlesex's bogey team. 14 games it took for Middlesex to get a win against Gloucestershire. Little paddle attempted. Ball trickles to the short fine leg. We gave it a mention last week at Cheltenham, that Hamish Marshall and Kevin O'Brien partnership that was a world record at the time when they hit 254 at Uxbridge. First time two batters had scored centuries in the same T20 innings. It was absolutely incredible destruction from the Irishman and Marshall. Checking myself because he was a New Zealander, Marshall, but I've got a feeling that it was the Zimbabwean in his heritage maybe, or some sort of African descendancy. So I was checking his nationality. There goes the trumpet. 102 without loss. Start the charge for Middlesex here in this one. They've picked up their first win at a Gloucestershire ground last week, and they could be about to do the double against their old bogey team. Taylor still sprinting in with some gusto, though. Those heels really kick up from the left armour. Slides that one across Anderson again. He's a run short of his 50, and I think he's just getting a reassuring word from Leas Deploy, his skipper. Just a single. Martin. Got a telling off from the over a couple of overs back. What was it, after the 10th? Oh, slower ball goes through him again.
It's been a wonderful spell from Taylor in amongst the destruction. And Anderson and Deploy. Of course, Taylor just 8 runs from his 16 deliveries so far. Gloucestershire in desperate need of a wicket. Again, this is a must-win game for the visitors.
Oh no. Oh, goodness me. The throw was brilliant as well. Anderson could have been in trouble there. We don't have side on today, do we? It's all right. Throw from Webster. Going back into the wicket-keeper's end, the striker's end. Anderson's had another word, I think, from Deploy, just saying pressure off, take the single. This is heaved away and is, wow, caught at deep mid-wicket. What a catch that is. Absolutely stunning effort at deep mid-wicket, and Anderson falls for 49. Taylor has the wicket. A nudge of the gloves from Deploy, who was almost trying to talk Anderson through that over for the single. And in the end, well, he'd have fancied he had his 50 there and a boundary. Instead, he's making his way off. Miles Hammond has taken us an absolute screamer. First wicket falls. Middlesex 102 for 1 after 12.
Yeah, deserved and much needed wicket for Gloucestershire. Taylor's bowled so well. 3 overs, 1 for 8. What a catch. Just dug into the surface. Anderson struck it well, but it's a big boundary out there, and that's a beautiful catch from Hammond. Diving to his right, low to the ground. Stepping up at much needed time. Brings Max Holden to the crease. That partnership between Deploy and Anderson setting a new record partnership for the first wicket for Middlesex against Gloucestershire, surpassing Eskenazi and Cracknell at Merchant Taylor's last year.
shuffle down the track, and this is pushed down to long off. 105 for one.
It'll just be a small rebuilding phase now for Middlesex. Wonderful opening partnership. It's just bought them a little bit of time. Still 10 and over required, but modern day batters, that's very comfortable.
Smeared away really that one by Holden for a single. 74 from 43. It is not a given. How many times have we seen it? A big, big partnership to begin an innings, and then the second innings you think, wow, or the second half of the innings, where can this go? Where can this team take this foundation? And then all of a sudden, the innings collapses away. Ploy will be very aware of that, and he'll be keen to be there right at the death to make sure Middlesex see this over the line. He'll probably fancy he needs to go bigger than Bancroft. He was out in the 80s, Ploy going nicely in the 50s, Middlesex. 13 done. They are 107 for one.
Elias Ploy's wagon wheel. Scoring all round the ground. Square, but then a couple of big maximums straight down the ground. It's been a great knock so far from today's skipper.
Nail-biting stuff. 110 for 2, Gloucestershire at the same stage. Ah! That's our mates.
Kev really likes him because he got him a burger.
He did. Wishful thinking, Dorpy. We've just all had a little look into Dorpy's head. Can you imagine? Remember when I used to do Twitter? Can you imagine if I'd have ever done that bold hand? There's just no escape from that. It was like, what? Thought you could get away with it. It was just a side look. Did he just post that? No. Oh, he didn't. Oh, now he's got under that Holden, and he's got it away and up and over extra cover. His first boundary.
Lovely shot, Holden. Give himself a bit of room. Up over the covers. Gloucestershire still on the attack. They need more wickets. Holden's a very positive player, back in the side today, replacing Mark Stoneman.
Oh, now he scooped it straight to the short, fine leg. Having looked to go up and over the keeper's head, he was in position too early almost, and in the end, drags the shot. Look at this. Drags it around the corner. Splice of the bat somewhat, but it's almost incredible off the splice that he's got the leverage to get it around the corner there. Threw it too early. And ends up paying the price. He's gone for 6, 112 for 1.
Yeah. Short third, did not have to move an inch there. Quite extraordinary that Holden's managed to get it to that position. And the scoop is a favourable shot of Holden, but yeah, just a little early. Maybe came off his glove or just a splice of the bat. He's carried to third. Another important wicket for Gloucestershire. It brings the star all-rounder Ryan Higgins to the crease. A man set up for this sort of situation. 68 runs to win. 39 balls remaining. 8 wickets in hand. Gloucestershire, a wicket just keeping them in this game. They need more wickets. They need that wicket of Deploy. Must-win game for the visitors. Middlesex looking for 3 wins on the bounce. This game evenly poised at this stage.
Driven hard through the covers. Get back for a couple. Higgins gets off the mark. He'll be keen to see this one over the line against a few of his old mates from down in Bristol.
It's at that point in the game now where every ball is vital, every dot ball just builds that little bit of pressure. Every boundary brings a release. Higgins, a busy player, will look to get going straight away.
Just dipped down in the end. Full toss, below waist, high but only just. Slower ball helped Massers. 14 done, 115 for 2. Name that tune, please, Dom.
Here's Mr. Rascal. A little bit dizzy. The music has been on point tonight here at Chelmsford. At this stage, Gloucestershire 119 for 4, so still nice and tight. Middlesex 2 wickets in hand on Gloucestershire at this point. Gloucestershire slightly ahead on the runs. I feel these next 2 or 3 overs will be vital.
It's not done yet here. I reckon this is tight at the moment. Middlesex need a big over soon to try and alleviate some of the pressure. Safe enough with that single. Webster doing the fielding. DLS is 115 for Middlesex. The Wasp has slipped to 60. That's how tight it is. A couple of wickets now, and it should really put this game very much in the balance. Chipped carefully by Deploy. Knew what he was doing there. Had the measure of it.
That required run rate just above 11. Good from Price. Phil Deploy been looking to really try and take advantage of the spinner. He loves playing against spin. Already hit wonderful maximum straight down the ground.
Now he's got enough of it. Gets it wide of the fielder as well. Bancroft's heading around to try and tidy up, but over extra cover first and foremost. Then wide of the fielder. Placed nicely, struck well.
Yeah, great skill from Deploy. Knew exactly where he wanted to place that. Executed perfectly.
Ooh, had to be watchful of that one. It's just tipping down on him. He was nearly through it too early. Kept that bat face open. And there's the wicket. Higgins falls, gone for 5 from 6. And now Middlesex just needs to be careful. They need somebody to play alongside Deploy, much as Gloucestershire needed somebody to play alongside Bancroft. Got them up to 179 in the end, but in the chase, Middlesex now just need to be very, very careful. Off stump, rocks back, Price strikes. 57 to win from 30, and Middlesex are 123 for 3.
Very well bowled, Ollie Price. Went for that boundary in the over, but a huge wicket of Ryan Higgins. Again, just keeps this game in the balance. Jack Davies, the new man. Much really does feel like a similar path to the Gloucestershire innings. A little bit of turn, flatter from Price. Yeah, it really feels like Cam Bancroft, someone just needed to stick with him. Feels like Deploy is playing that role. Davies in good form. Also hit a half century in this reverse fixture last week. Another busy player. That's an important moment. David Payne, key strike bowler, back into the attack. He's bowled 2 overs so far, just for 8 runs.
Ow. Second time he's been struck there, Deploy. That time not on the same spot, I'd imagine, so it'll still be aching where he was struck the first time, a little bit higher up to where I established is the sternum, with the help of all the masterminds in the commentary box. Ow! Oh, dearie me. He's in the walls out there, Deploy. Leg by signals. Now, where's that? Goodness me, that very nearly got through. Leg by signals. Surprised they weren't howling for that if that was a leg by. Can we see that again behind the bowler's arm, please, mate? 125 for 3. Let's have a look. Big step across. Yeah, height. A little bit more bounce in it than I expected. It was the bounce that did for him. It was also the bounce that saved him. Look out for a single. Davies, of course, was one of the heroes at Cheltenham College last week, his first T20 50. Anderson and he doing the damage after what was a really rough start, and it looked as though the writing was firmly imprinted on the wall last week. Not that anybody would graffiti on Cheltenham College.
Plenty of Banksy around that part of the country. It's really good here from David Payne. Really is a specialist in this format. Gone for just 9 runs so far from his spell. He's still got 7 deliveries left. Varying pace, changing up his length. It's one of those that very easily could have had a strong T20 international career with England. Has played an ODI.
Now, that goes all the way for 6, but that's a huge slice of luck for Middlesex. Had that have gone straight up off the top edge, then goodness me, Middlesex really would have been in trouble. All ducking for cover, even in the dugout.
That's a big ball, big delivery, big 6 from Deploy. Here's the man here.
Who was the brave one? Who went for it? We're still all in shell shock from the ball flying in their direction. Deploy 68 from 45. Davies has yet to get off the mark. Middlesex need 47 from 24. So strike rate very nearly of 200 from the final 4 overs.
At this point, Gloucestershire 140 for 4.
And Wasp is now 53%. Now, Wasp is about to go the other way because that has gone straight down the throat. Davies has gone for a third ball duck, and Middlesex are in trouble here. The required rate is jumping up. The strike rate required is over 200. Davies departs. Payne has his first wicket. Middlesex are 1-3-3 for 4.
Very good from Webster. Good from Gloucestershire all round. Oh, that's the long boundary out there. Webster digging it in. Davies had to go for it. Again, struck it nicely, but just it's a long boundary and a very comfortable catch. Davies goes. Hammond with the catch. 4 wickets down. Brings Joe Cracknell to the crease.
Yeah, again, we've talked about it all evening, haven't we? Square of the wicket here at Chelmsford is very, very difficult. There is no short boundary. We're bang in the centre of the square at Chelmsford tonight. So there's no short boundary either side square. The only short boundaries are down the ground. Sometimes you can get a mammoth boundary on one side if you're either side of the square, and you do have something that you can take on square of the wicket. The wicket has just made Wasp drop from 53 down to 41. Down to 38 now. Goodness me. Spiraled down from that was up in the 80s at one point, Wasp. Just goes to show, doesn't it? But what we always knew were Middlesex were only just ahead of the DLS at any given point in this match, even when they had all 10 wickets in hand. Now, they're just behind it. DLS after this delivery is 139. Oh, and it could have gone up a lot more. Shaw puts down the chance, and he puts down Deploy. Has he just put down the match with it?
Oh, that's a huge moment. Deploy again going for that reverse switch. Shaw reaching for it, but I should have held on.
If Gloucestershire don't win this match, they will know that that was the moment. As hard as it is on Shaw, if Gloucestershire fail to win, then he has just put down the game. Now Cracknell inside out. Oh, it's another one goes down. That was a very tough chance, so Payne's done well to get a hand to that, to be fair. I mean, I guess some may argue he could have made it look easier, but no, look, he's turning, running backwards, still coming over his right shoulder. That's a really tough chance as well, just to get the hand on it. Dragged this time by Cracknell. He was the great T20 hope at one point for Middlesex. Cracknell, when he burst onto the scene, he was dragged up to the 100 pretty quickly by Owen Morgan with London Spirit as a wild card. He and Blake Cullen. Hasn't quite happened for him this year or last. This is a real chance for him to put a little bit of that to bed. Ooh, floats that one up outside the off stump. Just maybe gave himself a little bit of room, Cracknell, in the end, stretching for it. End of the 17th, 139 for 4 Middlesex as Davies departed first ball of the over. Webster finishes with 1 for 32 from 4.
You can see the worm just starting to peel away there. Middlesex, a really good over from Bo Webster. Just puts Gloucestershire back on top. Task is looking a little bit more difficult for Middlesex now. Here's Deploy, is the key. 69 not out. This is why Middlesex signed him. For these kind of moments, can he get his team over the line?
Kevin Dom said the Wasps down to 38%. I'm not looking at what it is now. 18 deliveries, 41 runs. Struck sweetly. Kept it down, straight to the fielder, just the single.
That's a big over. This one you feel just 2 overs and 5 balls remaining. Taylor has just gone for 9 runs from his 3 overs and 1 delivery so far and has picked up that wicket. He's bowled so well.
Oh, now Cracknell He's got a lot of it, but he hasn't got enough of it. And he's going to go. Cracknell's out for 5. Taylor has his second wicket. Middlesex are 5 down with 16 balls to go. And Deploy could be stranded here at one end as the wickets are tumbling at the other.
Oh, brilliant from Taylor. He's done this all night. All spell, just digging it into the surface. Rolling his fingers across. A bit of a cutter. Cracknell not really getting much of it. Another very good catch. Gloucestershire have fielded well. 2 for 9 now for Taylor. Gloucestershire very much on top. That brings Luke Holman into the action.
Well, he's cool hand Luke at the moment, isn't he, Holman? Middlesex need him to be exactly that.
Cool hand Luke means nothing to this lot, Fletch. Yeah. No? Well, that means nothing to me. No, cool hand Luke. Who's cool hand Luke? Yeah. Darts World Champion, apparently.
Holman drags that one away. Think about 2, back they come. This could be tight. There's a mix-up. Holman's got to go. He's got to run back. He doesn't. It's an underarm. Holman's gone. Middlesex lose their 6th, and they're losing their heads here at the moment. In the 18th over, the wickets are tumbling. He was looking for the second. It would have been tight, that's for sure. Deploy did not think it was worth the gamble.
Oh, disappointing for Middlesex. Holman was sure he could get back for that second. Just miscommunication from the pair. Another big wicket. Middlesex struggling. Gloucestershire very much on top. Josh DeCaries comes to the crease. Still got a chance here, Middlesex. Josh DeCaries hit a rapid 31 not out in the previous game. We need something like that here. The key is that Deploy is still at the crease. Huge credit must go to Gloucestershire. The second set of 10 overs, they've been brilliant in the field. Their bowlers have stuck to their plans. Taylor 2 for 10 from 3 overs and 3 deliveries. Could be a match-winning spell.
Yeah, I'm not sure the second. Well, I think the second probably was there, but I think Deploy's thought process was probably correct. There's no need to lose another wicket right now. 2 in 2 deliveries. Deploy does have a strike. Hit hard again, but hitting the fielder. Just the single. Oh. Gary's getting down underneath that, nearly ducked into it. Trajectory just about bounced up and over his head. They do bat all the way down. They've got big hitters right down to number 11, Middlesex. But you do not want to leave it to that point. Somebody's got to stick out there with Deploy. T20 debut for DeCaries at Cheltenham College a couple of years back. Oh, another mix-up. He's gone if the throw hits. It's not released in the end. Gloucestershire don't take the chance, which is a strange one. He decided not to throw, nobody backing up. Well, there was enough backing up on the boundary that they'd have only conceded a single at worst. Whether he just didn't gather it cleanly. Middlesex get away with it. Crunched straight for 6. Excellent from DeCaries. Down the grounds where you've got to try and go.
Big 6. DeCaries. Great strike. Straight down the ground. Dead straight. Bisecting the fielders in a much needed maximum. They need a couple more Middlesex, but that just keeps them in this game. 32 to win from 2. If they can get a big over here, get it down to 15, 16 to win off the last, I think they've got a chance.
32 from 12. It is far from impossible, but Middlesex need a big over here. Deploy with the strike. He's going to have to try to do the majority of it. He's seeing it big. 71 from 48. How many times do we see 32 off the final couple of overs? Perhaps more so when you're setting, though, and the pressure in that sense is slightly off. When you're chasing, 32 from 12 is an awful lot of runs. Probably needs an 18 or so off this over just to give them some sort of realistic chance in the final one. There's a start, is it? No, it's just short of the fielder. Thought it was finer, and in the end, what looked like 4 to begin, then could have been even worse for Deploy. 149 for 6. Tense here at Chelmsford. Middlesex battling for pride at the end of the group stage. Gloucestershire battling for a quarter-final spot.
You feel this is the over. Shaw's gone for 37 from his 3. It's been targeted. Can Middlesex get it some boundaries away?
Every ball counts at the moment. They've got to swing at everything, and De Carey swings that one with a thick edge over the short thirds. 4 for De Carey's, 4 for Middlesex. Hope remains in the chase here for the hosts.
Yeah, De Carey's hit 31 not out from 16 against Gloucestershire last week. 3 4s and a 6. He's upping that strike rate again here. 27 to win from 10. Just need a couple more this over to give them a chance on that final 6 deliveries.
It's dragged again. Single it'll be.
A really good game this. 2 innings that have been pretty parallel. Both teams getting off to great starts in that first 10 overs.
Well, if they win it from here, it will be spectacular. 26 from 9, it's not impossible, but they need a big finish to this over, that's for sure. A couple of boundaries needed, and then ideally Deploy on strike for the final over. Block hole delivery, it's very well bowled, just a single. Well, that means Deploy does have the strike potentially for the final over, which means for De Carey's here, hit and hit big for these 2 deliveries. Shouldn't be thinking 1 here. It's either got to be 2, 4 or 6 off each of these deliveries from De Carey's. Eight balls, 25 runs. Oh, that's got to be a wide. It is. That helps. A nod of the head from De Carey's, a nod of appreciation. Umpire Chantry signalling that was just outside the line. Still 2 to go the over. 24 to win for Middlesex. It's amazing how little things can shift it. That drop catch, that drop of Deploy. You're thinking was shifting it towards Middlesex. Gloucestershire coming charging back, but that wide might change things. That could be big. Oh, mistimed from De Carey's. It's just a single. That leaves Deploy in an awkward position here. Drop the single, and that means it's 22 to win off the final over. Swing big. Try and take it down to 19 or 17 to win off the final over if he can swing very big. I think he probably has to go to the boundary here. Goes for the charge, doesn't even get the single. 23 to win off the final over. De Carey's will have strike on 12. Deploy has 73 from 51. And Shaw gets away with that wide. It felt like that could be really costly, but he's come back very, very well. Just a single off the last 2 balls of the 19th over, and that in itself is extremely costly for Middlesex. 157 for 6.
Yeah, well done, Gloucestershire. 2 key bowlers that have potentially won this game for them. David Payne and Taylor. Payne will be here, bowling his final over of his spell. 23 to win. Payne just gone for 15 runs so far.
Has to lay bat on this, whatever comes of this delivery for De Carey's. Oh, now, is it a wide? Bainton doesn't think so. Gave it the charge, gave himself room. Yep, that's a pretty fair delivery inside the line. Deploy comes to talk to him. I think it is a case of you've just got to lay bat on it. Whatever you get on it, get something on it. Give Deploy a chance. Skies it, and that means the new batter will have strike. Bracey hangs on, never in doubt there. Carey's goes for 12 from 7. Middlesex's night is pretty much done here at Chelmsford. Gloucestershire have fought back hard, just as Middlesex fought back at Cheltenham College last week to hurt Gloucestershire's chances. They're keeping theirs alive here on Middlesex ground tonight. 157 for 8 Middlesex.
Yeah, well bowled. David Payne again. Good take from Bracey. This game is as good as done now. Disappointment for Middlesex. I think Gloucestershire have just been really good. This second 10 overs. Good captaincy, good field placements, and their bowlers have stuck to the plans. Lots of variations, slower balls. Another one there. Carey's skying it, and Bracey taking a very good catch in this night sky. Tom Helm in the crease.
He's gone off.
Singles for Helm, and Deploy finally gets onto strike for the final over, and goodness me, it was still alive with 8 balls left, but it's gone horribly wrong from that point. That wide really felt as though it just gave Middlesex a chance. A single for Deploy, a wide chance for Carey's to hit out at a couple, but just one of the final 2 deliveries of the 19th. Nailed any chance really for Middlesex. Would have taken something quite brilliant in this final over. Let's get it over the line. That could be another one. Nope, Bainton's not interested. Must be sliding down leg by signals. A few Gloucester chance inside of Chelmsford. It's a long old journey around the M25 as well. Well, they've got hold of that one. It's going to be too little too late, though. Boundary for Helm, 4 for him. Gloucester get a little bit of payback here, though, for a heavy, hard defeat at Cheltenham College last week. That would have hurt against the side that they've got a good record against. Last ball of the match. Crunch down the ground again, and crunch for 6. And Middlesex falls short by 11 runs, and that will really rub salt in the wound for Middlesex. It was a game that they'd have fancied. They really had, for the most part, a century stand by the opening pair, and it was going so well at that point that they would always and should always have been in with a chance in the chase. Not to be, though. Liz Deploy not out with 73. How often do you see something like that, an opener not out and on the losing side? But the wickets tumbling at the other end hurt Middlesex, hurt Deploy. It meant he had to dig in and make sure that he was there at the end to try and give them a chance. But for me, it was the last 8 deliveries that went particularly wrong for Middlesex. The win for Gloucestershire, they win by 10 runs. And, well, over the 2 encounters, Tom, this week and last at Cheltenham College, it was actually a brilliant couple of T20s, fight backs on both occasions.
Yeah, some great cricket played from both teams. Another very good game here today. Both teams in it until the end there, but Gloucestershire just coming through. They've done their job. They needed to win today. They have. That puts them into 4th place, still with a chance of getting to the quarterfinals. All eyes will be on Essex versus Hampshire tomorrow night if you're a Gloucestershire fan or player.
Tom, thanks very much. Tom Ford, myself, Kevin Hand. It's good night to you all from here at Chelmsford. It's down to Sussex tomorrow night for Middlesex. You can pick up the stream of that one on the Middlesex website. And for Gloucestershire, good luck to them as they hunt a place in the quarterfinals. From the live enhanced stream from Middlesex, live at Chelmsford tonight in association with Daffabet. It's a good night to you all.